It's been a couple weeks since I uploaded a video, and today I wanted to have just a little bit of a philosophical conversation with you guys. I'm getting older. I'm an older gamer, if you will. I'm fixing to be 32 years old, and I'm getting older every year like everyone does. And I've been reflecting as I've been creating content and doing live streams about what I like to play and what resonates with me as I continue down this road. And my love for shooters is what got me into gaming. It's what I've always played more than anything else, and that love for shooters is still there. But I'm getting to a point where I'm a little bit scared that the day and age that I held on to when it comes to shooters, and again, this is me personally, it might be coming to an end. Now, I'm not going to go into any one game in particular. There are a million games out there and an equal amount of reasons why we may or may not feel, why I may or may not feel that a game is good anymore, that it was good, it is good still, it might continue to be good, on and on and on. There's a whole plethora of reasons why we feel that games fall off, succeed, don't, whatever. What I am going to go into in this video, however, in reference to my love for first-person shooters, where that's at and where I see it going for myself, is the state of online competitive gaming, live service games, things of that nature. Because if we're being honest, live service gaming in the online space has completely changed the landscape of the online competitive environment. And I don't really know if it's ever going to be able to go back to a way that it was before. Now, I already know that a lot of folks are just going to say that this guy's old, he's seeing gaming through rose-colored glasses, on and on and on, old man who's grumpy. I've heard it all before. That's just how it goes when you put yourself out there and create any type of content on the internet. You share your opinion, there's going to be 9 people who disagree with it and 1 who maybe does. But this is really more of a video explaining and diving into where I came from in gaming. When you would go buy a game, there really wasn't a huge, massive online community. There certainly wasn't an entire industry built around live service. If a game had multiplayer and if it had competitive multiplayer, in the early days, it probably wasn't online at all. It was local, so you had to have somebody actually sitting next to you. And if you were one of those few people who had like a bulky adapter attached to their console to access online competitive gaming, it was really as simple as you bought the game, you got the online experience included with that, and that was it. You just played it. What you got was what you got. There wasn't 1,000 different add-ons every month that you can continue to cycle through. So over the years, the lack of craftsmanship, if you will, in certain high-tier games has just become a little disheartening. And again, all of this is about shooters because that's where my heart truly lies. That's my bread and butter when it comes to playing games. You know, you still have games like Call of Duty Warzone and Apex Legends and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and all of this that have dominated their respective niches of the industry, which is kind of that highly competitive battle royale space. You have games like Valorant and Counter-Strike that are, again, hyper competitive in their own space, large esports communities where the one shot that matters, that quick reflex skill, has to be there. And then you have games like Escape from Tarkov and Arma and Squad that are far more detailed and far more in depth, that require a much deeper level of commitment and understanding of that game. All of these games exist in their own right. They provide their own experiences within the shooter space, whether it's on your own or something more squad-based or something much more hardcore and realistic, and all of those things are great. They've made those games what they are, and they've helped those games rise to the top and stay there, and they've garnered their own hardcore dedicated audience who continues to support those games and help those games grow. And it's been that way for a little while now. Those games and the names that we all know have been in those seats for quite some time. So I'm really thinking about and asking myself, well, you know, what's next? Where do we go from here in this space? And I've made a few videos before highlighting certain key features that I think games should adopt if they want to progress and elevate those genres. We have a new Call of Duty on the horizon, Black Ops 7, and there's a lot of speculation about what that'll bring. Is it going to bring Blackout back? Is Warzone going to sort of cease to exist for a little while and take a back seat to a brand new battle royale experience that was the OG of the Call of Duty franchise? What will that be like? Is there really a lot of excitement around another Call of Duty title. I think the argument could be made at this point that there's really not, because it's something that we're just so used to getting. It's kind of like a new iPhone. It's just there every year, and it has a little bit better camera and screen, but ultimately it's the same experience. You know, we're not really getting anything new. Battlefield is on the horizon, something that I've been hoping and praying comes just absolutely exploding out of the gate with a product that truly gives these other titles a run for their money. It might be Battlefield's last chance to do so, I don't know, but they're certainly in a position where they have a huge hill to climb. Apex Legends is on its 23rd, 24th season. There's 30 different legends to choose from. Escape from Tarkov has been out for 11 years and it's finally fixing to hit its 1.0 release. Now, none of these things are inherently bad or even good, but my point is that you can see how over time the curve for this genre of games has flattened. There hasn't been a tremendous spike in content that we've gotten out of this genre, where in contrast, it seems like the RPG space and the indie game space have been releasing games that have been genre-defining, game of the year, experience-changing games over and over and over again. And some of these games aren't even $60 or $70. Some of them release for $30 or $40, and they're critically acclaimed games that come from studios that maybe some people have never heard of. But the first-person shooter industry, generally speaking, has just been a flat line. They're not really providing much content outside of season passes that contain cosmetics for your soldier or your gun, and maybe if you're lucky you'll get a new map or two. The environments of most of these games have been relatively static, with the same formula of teams, solo, squads, whatever, dropping in and trying to kill each other with very little else going on, no other real interactivity or dynamicism to the world that you're actually in. It's just all very static. And back to the core of this video, it's those things right there that scare me the most and make me the most afraid that if this genre in particular doesn't change, doesn't grow, doesn't evolve in some way, that it might just be a genre that I more or less give up on, that I won't put as much time into. And I hate to say that because it's something that I truly love and want to be at least half decent at, even though I'm not going to be able to compete with the younger folks who play far more than I do. I just wish that there was something more pulling me in than there has been in this particular area of gaming. And I'll even play devil's advocate. Companies have to make money, and whether we agree with the policies on how they do make money or not, it's just a reality. If the game is released for free, or if the single player version of the game costs money, it's usually very likely that the live service online competitive version of that game, whether it's a battle royale or an extraction shooter or just a multiplayer experience, is going to have some type of economy in place for that company to continue to make money. It's just the only way to do business in this climate. It's how you keep people funding your project for years to come. The day and age of paying for something once in a competitive sense, not the RPG space, those days are kind of just over. Now, that doesn't mean that every decision that's made along those lines is ethical or right or couldn't be changed, but I've just kind of accepted it. I understand that it has to happen. Now, in games like Call of Duty Warzone's case, they've taken it way too far. The game has lost all sense of identity. It's conforming and molding and becoming whatever is most popular at the time and just pulling anything and everything it can from pop culture and AI generated this and that to seize every single cent out of anyone who opens the game that they can. I think where the real issue lies for that with most people, though, is that we want to support the games we love. We want to support the games we enjoy playing, and if you create content for those games, you want that game to be at the forefront of what you're doing. So we want to support them. The issue is that we want the product that we get, we want it to be quality. We want there to be a little bit of pride, a little bit of dedication, a little bit of understanding, a little bit of effort shown into the fact that what we were doing before wasn't working, so we have to address it, come correct, and fix it so that the people that support our game, who are the reason that our game exists and thrives, are getting something that they deserve. And with all the talks of Battlefield leaks and insider issues and development this and what it may not have and classes and battle royale and multiplayer and on, it's a perfect example of what I mean. Battlefield 3 and 4 were probably some of the most cherished Battlefield titles in shooters and just in general. Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, just some of the better shooter games ever made. I mean, at least in, a newer generation since. I mean, they're beloved games. And when 2042 came along, it really just rubbed people the wrong way because it was just such a departure of what Battlefield players had come to expect. And now knowing that this is a huge pinnacle moment for the Battlefield franchise, and we've got Vince Zampella back, and the culture and the mentality supposedly had shifted to, hey, we've got to get this franchise back on track, or this is it, man, like this is our last chance. Hearing things like development issues and developer turmoil, whether that's with the single player portion of the game or not, it's just the prime example of how a game, first and foremost, needs to have the dedication in place to crafting the experience that's required and wanted by the people who play the game. They're telling you it's all over the place. And after that's been achieved, whether it has to be delayed or not, then we can focus on how we support this game. And as long as we've been delivered something that we genuinely want, enjoy, and deserve, we'll gladly support it. There are some facts about the industry that are apparent. We have the technology, we have the talent, so we know these experiences can be made. We know they can happen. We see it all the time in the RPG space. Just mind-blowing, genre-defining experiences. Now, creating an online competitive game, it's a little bit different. You're not necessarily going to have the same fidelity because it's an online server network-based experience. It's a little bit different than having everything locally stored in memory, on and on, whatever the case may be. But we know the technology's there. We know the developer talent is there. So it's not an issue of can we pull it off? We know we can. Games like Arc Raiders are tastes of what that next step could be, with the visual fidelity of the game, the performance being what it is alongside the visual fidelity, the environments being large and open and expansive, online and interactive and dynamic, and not just stale and stagnant and lifeless. And I truly feel for developers in this day and age to be an artist or a programmer in the gaming industry. I wouldn't want that job, man. It's a very hard job. It's a very underappreciated job. All of those credits from all of the people who worked on your favorite game that roll at the end, nobody reads those. Nobody looks at those or reaches out to those people to say thank you for all of the hours and overtime and the deadlines. Not to mention that just because a project succeeds once doesn't mean it'll succeed again, and most game developers are having to look for a job on a routine basis because that's just the nature of the industry. We see it all the time with layoffs and studios closing because games didn't perform. And unfortunately, that's just the darker side of the industry now. Everything is about the bottom line. It's about money. It's about how the studio's going to survive. And we're very fortunate that we still get to do this, that we still get to slack off, if you will, and just enjoy a leisurely activity like gaming. Whether you think it's up to par or not, there are plenty of incredible games out there to be played. It's just that when you're someone like me who really enjoys an online shooter experience, the well has been dry now for a little while. And you may agree with the things that I've mentioned in this video, and you may not. I know that there are plenty of games to play, that everyone has their own flavor, and as long as you're having fun, then that's what matters. I'm a little bit different in position because I'm trying to make content about it, so I have to be a little bit more aware and active and think about what I'm doing a little bit more than the average player who just gets online for a few hours after work, and that's really it. I'm under no illusion that shooters are going anywhere, that the shooter genre is dying, but I do think that there is a massive shift that needs to occur in the shooter space, particularly with people of my demographic. For younger folks who are just entering supporting a lot of these IPs and franchises, it's all new to them. And again, if they're having fun, then that's great. But we're sort of slowly seeing these types of transitions occur, and hopefully companies really start listening. Because if the shooter genre is going to evolve and succeed, we're going to have to get past the same formula and the same 4, 5, 6 titles that have dominated the landscape for nearly the last decade. As with anything at scale, these things happen over time. And again, this was just a philosophical video of me thinking about creating content and what I wanted to play and what I wanted to stream and what I thought I could have fun playing, what would be something different to watch. And that directly conflicts with viewership a lot of the times because people want to see what they want to see, whether you like it or not. So it is what it is. I appreciate you guys for watching the video, and I'd like to know your thoughts on where you see the state of gaming, particularly in reference to shooters. Do you think there's an evolution of shooters coming? Are you hopeful for what's coming with shooters? Do you see certain genres or games fading out, kind of taking a back seat? I don't know. It remains to be seen, and only time can tell. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe. We are live 3 days a week here on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, almost everywhere you can watch live streams. It helps a ton and it's totally free. I will see you guys online.